The discovery of Flax. There was once a peasant who daily left his wife and children in the valley to take his sheep up the mountain to pasture, and as he watched his flock grazing on the mountainside, he often had opportunity to use his crossbow and bring down a chamois, whose flesh would furnish his larder with food for many a day. While pursuing a fine animal one day, he saw it disappear behind a boulder, and when he came to the spot, he was amazed to see a doorway in the neighboring glacier, for in the excitement of the pursuit, he had climbed higher and higher until he was now on top of the mountain, where glittered the everlasting snow. The shepherd boldly passed through the open door, and soon found himself in a wonderful jeweled cave hung with stalactites, in the center of which stood a beautiful woman, clad in silvery robes and attended by a host of lovely maidens crowned with alpine roses. In his surprise, the shepherd sank to his knees, and, as if in a dream, heard the queenly central figure bid him choose anything he saw to carry away with him. Although dazzled by the glow of the precious stones around him, the shepherd's eyes constantly reverted to a little nosegay of blue flowers, which the gracious apparition held in her hand, and he now timidly proffered a request that it might become his. Smiling with pleasure, Hulda, for it was she, gave it to him, telling him he had chosen wisely, and would live as long as the flowers did not droop and fade. Then, giving the shepherd a measure of seed which she told him to sow in his field, the goddess bade him be gone. And as the thunder pealed and the earth shook, the poor man found himself out upon the mountainside once more, and slowly wended his way home to his wife, to whom he told his adventure and showed the lovely blue flowers and the measure of seed. The woman reproached her husband bitterly for not having brought some of the precious stones which he had so glowingly described, instead of the blossoms and seed. Nevertheless, the man proceeded to sow the latter, and he found to his surprise that the measure supplied seed enough for several acres. Soon the little green shoots began to appear, and one moonlit night, while the peasant was gazing upon him, as was his wont, for he felt a curious attraction to the field which he had sown, and often lingered there wondering what kind of grain would be produced, he saw a misty form hover above the field, with hands outstretched as if in a blessing. At last the field blossomed, and countless little blue flowers opened their calyxes to the golden sun. When the flowers had withered and the seed was ripe, Hulda came once more to teach the peasant and his wife how to harvest the flax, for such it was, and from it to spin, weave, and bleach linen. As the people of the neighborhood willingly purchased both linen and flaxseed, the peasant and his wife soon grew very rich indeed, and while he plowed, sowed, and harvested, she spun, wove, and bleached the linen. The man lived to a good old age, and saw his grandchildren and great-grandchildren grow up around him. All this time his carefully treasured bouquet had remained fresh as when he first brought it home, but one day he saw that during the night the flowers had drooped and were dying. Knowing what this portended, and that he too must die, the peasant climbed the mountain once more to the glacier, and found again the doorway for which he had often vainly searched. He entered the icy portal, and was never seen or heard of again, for according to the legend, the goddess took him under her care, and bade him live in her cave, where his every wish was granted. So that was The Discovery of Flax, the 9th section of Chapter 3 of Myths of the Norsemen by Helene A Guerber, Frigga. I will be working my way through this book section by section, and if there are any other public domain books that you would like for me to read, please leave a comment below. Did you enjoy this video? Then subscribe for more, and be sure to check me out on Facebook and Patreon. Thank you for listening, and have a lovely evening.